Today, I want to talk about Slaughterhouse 5. This is a book I went into completely blind, and it ended up becoming one of my favorite books of the year. The book revolves around a guy named Billy Pilgrim. He's a very meek little man. It sounds really mean, but I mean, the book really does drive that point home. He is a very meek man. He is a World War II veteran. He survived the Battle of Dresden and seems to live in a life constructed of nothing more than curveballs. Throughout Billy's life, he does encounter a lot of misadventures. Throughout this book, Billy does experience a lot of misadventures. He serves in World War II. He witnesses the Battle of Dresden after he's captured by the Germans. He's involved in a horrible plane crash where he ends up breaking his back. His whole life seems to be constructed of nothing more than curved balls. All the while he's dealing with all this, he becomes periodically unstuck in time due to his encounter with a group of aliens. These aliens that Billy encounters are called the Tralfamadorians. I know I probably said that kind of wrong, but like it is, for me and my smooth brain, is kind of a tongue twister. They don't experience life the way you and me do, moment to moment, second by second. They experience life all at once, which is a very pivotal plot device for this book. So for Billy, after he does encounter these aliens and spends a little bit of time on their planet, he also, after becoming unstuck from time, will periodically experience his life, past and present. It was a very unique way to write a book like this, and I wasn't exactly sure if it would work, but Kurt Vonnegut does an incredible job of making everything make sense in a book that otherwise shouldn't make sense with its plot structure, if that makes sense. You see, Billy will be in the middle of conversations, events, and stuff, and you will find out he just becomes unstuck, and like he can like feel it happening. For instance, for me, one of the moments where he becomes unstuck in time is on his honeymoon with his wife. His wife brings up that he has never mentioned the war much to her, and he always he claims that he's not bothered by it, and he kind of talks about how he wasn't really affected by it. But when she starts asking him questions, he gets up to go to the bathroom. All of a sudden he can feel himself becoming unstuck from time, and all of a sudden he's back in Dresden experiencing part of what happened to him in this traumatizing moment or moments in Slaughterhouse 5, which is where him and other American POWs were being held. This book is very much up for interpretation of the reader. I personally see this as a man dealing with the effects of PTSD and trying to shield himself from the horrible things that he saw and witnessed while serving the United States in World War II. The other more incredible version is you could take everything at face value, and indeed Billy was unstuck from time, actually did meet up with aliens, did stay on their planet for a bit, did get an actress pregnant. That's a whole thing that I can't get into, but he was basically at a zoo. He was exhibiting at a zoo for a bit, and they wanted to see him mate with another human, and she happened to be a famous actress. I mean, if that doesn't sound like a weird fantasy, I don't know what is. I don't see that being reality, but hey, who knows? It's fiction. Anything's possible in fiction, right? To me, I would give Slaughterhouse 5 5 stars. I think it was a very easy read. It was a very quick read. It's, 275 pages. It's not tough, but like it's just it's one of those books where, it feels like a warm blanket. At no point did this book feel like a chore to read. Every page, something happened. You could tell it very much felt like the author had a connection to this story, and he did. Kurt Vonnegut actually was a World War II vet. He was at the bombing of Dresden, and he mentions that early on in the book. It's kind of fascinating before you even get to the main like the meat of the actual fictionalized book. It starts off with the author talking about how he wanted to write a book like this, and he explains how he changes the names and stuff like that of people in the book, and instead of it being told from his vantage point, it's told through the point of view of this man, Billy Pilgrim. And I think that is a very unique, very interesting way to write a book. It was different from anything that I've ever read. If you haven't read this book, I highly suggest going out and getting a copy. You won't regret it. It will be an excellent addition to your personal library. Not much more I can say about this other than go out and give it a chance. It will suck you in right away. Definitely a book that deserves to be talked about more than it is, I think. In a world where it seems like a lot of people are hyping up the same books over and over and over again, this is a book that deserves to be talked about more. And I hope people are still going out and buying it as much as they are other classics, because it's just as valid and just as good as those other ones. All right, guys, if you have read Slaughterhouse 5, let me know what you thought of it. Did you find the plot interesting, easy, or hard to follow? Do you think this was a story that should be taken at face value? Or do you think that this is a man dealing with the stress and trauma of his past life? Let me know down in the comments. My name is Jake, and I'll see you around.